Welcome to The Future is Female. This is the show of the day, and we are waiting to talk about Zion and the Pittsburgh Steelers drama and, Robert Kraft and a bunch of really fun stuff today. I'm here with Nicole Pinter and Gabrielle Ducharme, and I'm Sarandon Raboin, and let's get started, all right?
We got a jam-packed show today, people.
Seemed like a slow sports week, but no, it really wasn't.
Not even close. Not even close.
No, and it starts with the Duke-UNC game. UNC, Zion Williamson goes out within the first 36 seconds of the game. UNC takes it from there, 88-72. Zion blew up his shoe, quite literally.
Yeah. I don't know if that speaks to the strength of Zion or the bad quality of his basketball shoe.
Yeah. But, also, really quick sidebar. Someone tweeted out, get well soon, Zion, but they tagged in Zion National Park.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
And they were like, yeah, it's a bit chilly with some snow, but we'll get right back out there. It was just, that is the kind of content that I like to see. For sure. It was definitely one of those things where it re-engaged the old should college athletes be paid debate. And
with the prices of the game.
So we'll get to that. But also, it's potentially started the NBA, the process to lowering the age limit on entering the NBA from 19 back to 18.
Yeah.
Which is a huge, huge thing for the NBA to do. But what do you want to start with first? Should college athletes be paid, or should we start with the NBA age limit?
I mean, I think they both kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion, a little bit, with athletes being paid and with athletes wanting to go straight from high school to the NBA to get that bag. Average resale prices of this game were close to Super Bowl prices of actual professional athletes.
Yeah, they were over $2,000, I want to say.
Average resale price was $3,296.
Yep, that's a lot of money.
Super Bowl resale price was over $4,000, so it wasn't far.
No.
Considering that it's a college basketball game in the middle of February, I know we're approaching March and stuff like that, but it's a college basketball game.
Right.
College basketball does not make nearly as much money as the NFL does, especially around Super Bowl time. But the Zion, see, I've always been this believer that college athletes really shouldn't get paid because you want to maintain. I feel like there's a certain standard that you uphold with the NCAA, and being able to have that amateurism and have that school pride and school spirit. There's something very authentic about that, and that's what separates the NCAA from high school, and that's what separates the NCAA from all of these professional leagues where when players go into these professional leagues, they enter adulthood.
Right.
This idea of being able to maintain amateurism, even if it is only for one more year, but on that kind of same national stage, I think, I don't know, maybe athletes should start getting paid. Maybe it'll help to not water down the NCAA as much as it's been watered down now. I mean, I remember I was telling you guys earlier, Duke has all of his talent. I mean, granted, there was talk for a while that Zion wasn't even the best player on his own team. There was a lot of talk that R.J. Barrett was a better player and was going to get drafted number 1. And so, honestly, the idea of losing all this talent to the NBA within, a month and a half, it is kind of bittersweet, and it's kind of sad. But, so maybe if you do pay them, they'll stick around even longer.
I think there's a couple different things to think about when you talk about paying college athletes. I think there's the discussion of, one, how much do you pay these athletes? Obviously, different sports bring in different kind of revenue. Football and basketball for men obviously bring in the most money for those schools generally. And then, would swimming get paid? Would track and field get paid?
Not as much.
Would women's basketball get paid?
Exactly. That's definitely probably not going to get paid as much as the men's basketball if you look at a quality standpoint.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it. And also, I was always a big fan of athletes getting paid because it would kind of help bridge the gap between going from high school and you're not getting paid anything because you're going to school, and then also all of a sudden you're making millions upon millions of dollars and you have no idea what to do with it. So I think it would be kind of like a different, a nice bridge of those two worlds. But, I mean, the more I dug into it, the harder it is to find a line of how to pay them. Sorry, go ahead.
If you also look at NCAA athletes, there's over 400,000 athletes playing Division I sports. Less than 1% will go on to become LeBron James.
Pros.
Well, yeah, pros.
Right.
Pros. And so it's like, do you only pay the ones that might go on to be pro, or do you pay all of them?
See, this is where I've recently kind of changed my opinion. So for a really long time, I was very pro pay everyone. They're all taking up time from their school to multitask and be both a student and an athlete. But now I'm thinking, what if the NCAA changed their rules slightly where they could allow sponsorships, brands, those kinds of things, which could help, those top tier athletes like Zion. And if he could do commercials or like things like that, so he is getting paid in some way.
Yeah.
Because you do that when you're a professional. You think LeBron James, like, in those Sprite commercials is like, nah, I'm doing this for free. Like, that's not happening. Like, I think, if, we do see a top-level athlete like Zion, like, even DeAndre Ayton last year with U of A, if they know that they're going to go probably first round, first pick even, they could potentially get brands, and I think that helps separate like the top tier athletes who potentially go on to these larger professional sports, and the school is still not paying them. So I think that might be a nice balance, but I mean, you can always find something unfair.
I'm kind of around where you are on this a little bit. I don't think I'm just going to come out and say it, NCAA is trash. That's my opinion.
Hot take.
NCAA is
Scorching
trash.
take.
A little bit.
Okay. But, I mean, the NCAA is just so... They're hard blank because they're just some of the stuff that they don't allow that, like, your jersey number could get sold in the bookstore. Like, for example, I don't know what numbers they're selling in the ASU bookstore.
Oh,
but
42.
42. 42, 1.
Oh, 42's Tillman, though. Okay.
Yeah.
They sell number 1, which is Remy Martin's
Typically.
jersey.
Okay, but that's...
Yeah.
Or N'Keal Harry if you're going football.
Right.
Oh, yeah, or Nicole Harry.
So in that case, why can't they make money off of that? Why? That's what I would want. Is the NCAA...
There was a big conversation back when Johnny Manziel was playing college, and he was selling jerseys so much for his school, and like he wasn't seeing a penny of it, and that's the whole reason why they don't put names on the jerseys.
But it's still their number.
It's still their number. But that's the NCAA's like loop around for not having to
like
give
how
out
we can
money.
sell your jersey number, but guess what? It's not you because your name's not on it.
Right.
On that topic, do you guys know who Ben Simmons is?
Yes.
The NBA player for the Sixers.
Yes.
He came out one day on like Uninterrupted or something like that and started talking about the NCAA and how they didn't put his name on anything, but they used him like no other. When he was at LSU, they exploited him. They exploited the living daylights out of him. Like, they had a big billboard, I guess, when he was like a senior in high school. He was coming to LSU the next season, and it didn't say his name, but it said his jersey number. Number 25 is coming. It had this huge billboard, this huge advertisement for the basketball team. His jersey was getting sold like wildfire because of how popular he was. He wasn't seeing a penny of that profit, though.
Right. I mean, like, even if you live in like the Phoenix area, there are tons of advertisements with, during which season you're looking at. Like, if it's basketball season, Remy Martin, Tishon Cherry, like, all of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all on these, like, billboards advertising the season. And they aren't seeing those profits. I mean, yes, you can argue, like, that's marketing. Since you're a student athlete, we have the right to market you, so to help sell tickets to the game. But it's hard to cut. Like, obviously, no one likes working for free. And the student athletes, for sure, don't
That's what Division I sports are.
Right.
You're working for free.
Exactly.
Schedules are rough.
It is rough. It's rough. It's hard. You know, you're balancing your classes, your potential future career if you're not going to go pro. And that's hard. It's not easy. And it's like to not see anything or to do all this work. I mean, you can argue that they're getting paid through their college tuition.
See, that's where it gets kind of hazy for me because like, I feel like maybe you're working for free, but you're not paying to go to school like 99% of the people at your institution are. Yes, you're doing more work, and yes, you might be bringing in some type of revenue flow to the NCAA, but like I can remember kids from my high school who signed on to go play Division I sports, like, you know, just 1 year ago when I was a senior, and all throughout high school and stuff like that, none of them really voiced, like, oh yeah, like, I would want to get paid, or like, oh, I expect to get paid. Like, most college athletes do not really expect to be earning a paycheck for the work that they're doing.
That's because that's what the NCAA has taught you, though.
But also, a lot of my friends, when I was growing up in high school, they were like, yeah, I don't want to get paid. I genuinely, like, a lot of people, athletes who I would play with, or I'd be like, listen, like, you're going to play college sports, like, don't you want to get paid? They're like, no, college athletes shouldn't get paid. I'm getting tuition. I'm going to a great school. And that is, like, an argument.
And it's a fair argument.
It is a fair argument. But, I mean, like, when you look at the amount of revenue that some of these big-ticket sports are bringing in, Alabama football, like, that just...
Huge.
Absolutely huge. Clemson even, like, now that they've won the championship twice. I mean, it's insane the amount of money that some of these D1 programs are bringing in, but I can see where it would get hazy because of the lower sports. The things that are, like, the Olympic sports, like track and field, softball, swim and dive, like, those kinds of things that aren't going to necessarily bring in a ton of revenue, but it is going to bring something. It's interesting.
A couple weeks ago, the ASU softball team, they did like a autograph signing sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
I think for that, at least for selling jerseys, obviously I don't think the NCAA is going to figure out how to pay everyone equally, but I think if they're able to profit off of that at least, like, that's something. I did a project on this freshman year of high school actually. Yeah. On should they be paid. And March Madness was the big, like, example of this. They have 4 channels, 3, I guess True TV only gets, like, the first 4 games, but literally first 4. But
what is it? Is it like TBS, TNT, and then like
CBS, True TV, and then they have a bunch of sponsors. There's a video I watched, and I think you guys should watch it too. It's hilarious. But it's John Oliver. It's Last Week Tonight on the NCAA, and it's just he brings up so many good points. Like Richard Sherman was an example in it, saying like, there'd be, or actually one of the Villanova players too. They were like, there'd be nights where I wouldn't eat because I didn't have time or I didn't have money.
Right.
And I have a tweet here that was just tweeted yesterday that by Ellis McKinney, a University of Maryland grad student on the football team. He tweeted, "The NCAA is a joke. Our teammate Jordan McNair, who passed away last summer, passes away during an NCAA-sanctioned workout. But now, as a student athlete, I am not allowed to promote a fundraiser we are having for his parents' Jordan McNair Foundation. Sorry. I can't even tweet the flyer. That's my TED Talk." One, what a great way to find a way around those rules.
Yeah.
Great tweet. You just advertised it.
Yeah.
But it shows, like, even when McNair pass and stuff like that happens, and the NCAA is like, no, you still can't make money.
Yeah.
For his parents. I did a Division I schedule for a week, like in the beginning of the school year. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, it was it was even harder living down here, taking the light rail at like 5 in the morning for a 6 o'clock practice, and have 6 to 7:30 practice, be back here, have class at 9:40. Like, that was hard. I was crying a lot that week.
Yeah.
My mom was out here, and like, I was supposed to take the light rail like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I only took it Friday because she was like, forget this, we're driving, like, since I'm here.
Yeah.
But I don't know how, like, I could have done it not being in Tempe. especially. Like, with my major being down here. It was not fun.
Yeah. So you got firsthand experience into like what it's like, what NCAA athletes, give up and risk. Like I will admit this, they give up a lot. And that was actually what I was gonna ask you about. Like, you kinda lived what they're living. Like, from your experience, do you believe that if you were an NCAA Division I athlete right now, would you want to be getting paid?
At least some sort of compensation. I don't know what, but like, that's a hard thing. I think that's why a lot of NCAA future NCAA athletes say they don't want to get paid, because they don't really know how to get paid, and the NCAA doesn't know either. Like, if I were like swim team, absolutely, like, they do amazing things. They should absolutely get some sort of compensation. What? I don't know. But if you saw a picture of last year's ASU U of A swim meet at ASU, like, it was basically sold out. Granted, tickets are free, and that's great, but it was sold out.
Free, technically.
Technically, it's in our tuition. Yeah, something like that.
They are getting money.
Yeah, but and you could say basketball and football players are getting money on the side, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that they're not supposed to.
But that's also something. It's like the NCAA is so...
That's against the rules.
Hypocritical.
Right.
Where it's like a lot of the times there are money going under the table, and there's a great book about it that I can't remember the name, but it is all about college football and everything about it. Rather, the recruiters... it talked about the tattoo scandal at Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And Tressel got fired for that.
Yeah.
That was,
so
even as a Michigan fan, that was like, okay. Like, and you didn't fire Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
And now he's teaching, like, some leadership class on, like...
Urban Meyer's actually teaching a leadership class at Ohio State.
And he's the assistant AD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But...
Even then, like, I'm glad we beat him in, like, 2011 when Tressel was fired. But, like, for that, maybe a suspension.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a suspension, like, Urban Meyer's length, but being fired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're just trying to get lunch. I could talk about this for hours.
But anyway, the book is called The System. It's the ins and outs of big-time college football. It's fantastic. Check it out. If you want to know more about what goes on the NCAA level, it's fantastic. But yeah, so we don't know if college athletes should be paid. End all be all.
We still don't know. 20 minutes of talking about it, we still don't know.
This
I think
could
it's
be
in some
literally
way.
a show in itself.
I could talk about the NCAA for hours.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, especially, like, you have personal experiences working within NCAA athletics. Yeah, you could.
It was hard. I won't lie. It was hard.
Yeah,
and I did
a
week and a day.
It's incredibly difficult. Yeah.
All right.
I was very tired.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. After that, we're going to talk about Chuck E. Cheese having an MLB game that is not great, and the Pittsburgh Steelers drama again, and a little bit about Robert Kraft and what he got himself into. This has been The Future is Female, live from the Bill Austin Radio Studio. Welcome back to The Future is Female. I'm Sarandon Raboin, here with Nicole Pinter and Gabrielle Ducharme. Sorry.
I thought you were going to say, like, Pinter.
No, I was close.
I'm guessing you've got that one. You've gotten that one before multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny that I
Multiple.
would mess up on someone's name since my name is the most commonly messed up on. But
Oh, girl, you don't know mess ups on names until you hear somebody try to pronounce Ducharme.
Not gonna lie, before I saw the
Ducharme.
spelling... Before I saw the spelling of your name, I thought it was Robin. I was like, oh, that's easy. And then I saw, and I was like, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No. You're like, oh, wait, there's an I in there, there's an O in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's a whole mess of vowels. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about real quick is a little 9-year-old girl called out Chuck E. Cheese for having...
Woo! You go, girl!
A sexist game? Basically...
Question mark?
Sexist game?
So, this little 9-year-old, Marcy Markham, she was at Chuck E. Cheese, playing a MLB licensed baseball throwing game to show off her skills. And she... As you do. And she missed once. And the machine said, hey, there's always softball. And Marcy Markham, honestly killer girl she is. She was like, yeah, no, that's not right. I'm going to write a letter. So she wrote a letter to the MLB basically saying that the game needed to be changed because she played softball, and the game made it seem like softball was worse than baseball. And this is great. She said, I missed, in parentheses, once. The game was mocking me. It said, oh, well, there's always softball. It made it seem like baseball was better. In parentheses, it's not. Which
That's
is
the best part right
absolutely
there.
It's
fantastic. And she was basically getting the point across that it was trying to say that if you missed, you should just play softball, which is not the kind of message you want to send to a lot of impressionable kids. Especially since, we want as many kids to play sports as possible.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we all
absolutely.
agree that, sports is great for learning leadership skills, athleticism, working as a team. Like, it's just great for learning a bunch of life's lessons.
And honestly, just being, like, a healthy individual physically.
Right.
Like,
yeah, exercise.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, getting your butt off the couch in the middle of the summer, in the fall, at all times of the year.
Yeah. So, Marcy is fantastic for reaching out to the MLB because this is, derogatory, and it should be, given to the attention of those who are licensing the game, especially since it does have the Major League Baseball logo adorned on it. So they said Major League Baseball had not received the letter yet, but it had planned to reach out to Marcy's family with a few ideas to celebrate her love for softball. Which is, great if, this wasn't... It shouldn't have been there in the first place. It really, it hits home that point of the derogatory, you throw like a girl.
Yeah.
Which, if you play softball or you watch softball, like, I'll throw like a girl anytime.
You want to throw like a girl.
Rice balls are sick. Like, they're so cool.
May I also add, this girl, when she got mad about the fact about the comment that the game made, she started throwing harder.
Which I think is awesome and hysterical.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. She started throwing harder. She got more mad.
I want to meet this girl.
Honestly.
I also do better at sports when I'm angry.
Marco, if you're listening, please come on our show.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
We're starting a fan club.
Yes.
What's the girl's name? Margot?
Marcy Marco.
Margot.
Oh, that's a name.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean that in like a good way. Like that's the MM.
That's one heck of a name.
What's her middle name?
Her name is Marie Markham. Sorry.
Marie Markham. I like it.
But yeah.
Marie Markham.
Marie Markham.
It just flows.
It does.
We've been talking about names throughout the show. I mean,
I know.
Dang, she's got quite the name.
Yeah.
But what brings it to me, this letter reminded me a lot of, if this is going to be a blast from the past for those who watched SportsCenter in the early 2000s, but it was Sports Science.
I miss Sports Science.
Which is basically the best show ever because it broke down sports in like a cool science way, and I was like, yes, this is the nerd content that I subscribe to. But there was one episode that I distinctly remember because I kept pointing it out to all the people that said softball is worse than baseball. And I was like, wait, Sports Science said that it is actually harder for softball players to hit softballs because you have less time to react to the ball than in Major League. So if softball players, you have a pitcher throwing 70 miles an hour, which is pretty average, or like top average of, an NCAA D1 pitcher. Like Oklahoma pitchers, they could hit 70 easy. So you have approximately 0.35 seconds to react before the ball gets to the plate.
Good Lord.
No, so like that's how long it takes for the ball to get to home plate.
No wonder I was so bad at softball, because at 0.35 seconds is just like I would be lucky if I could react in 3.5 seconds to a pitch.
Yeah, we would do like relating it to swimming, because that's the only thing I can with the reaction time. We would like practice our reaction time like on the blocks, go right as that buzzer goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, reaction time was terrible for me.
Same. My mom was like, your starts are so slow. And I'm like, it's a really good thing I do, like, 200 and up events. But...
Yeah.
So you can make
But,
up
like,
for the distance loss.
Yeah, it's why I didn't do the 50 free all that well. I mean, like, my time wasn't bad, but I'd almost never improved, like, from what I was, like, at 12 years old.
Oh,
Because my starts off the block were not fast. They got better. My start looked better, but, like, 0.35, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what my rate was. Slower than that.
Comparison, it takes an 100-mile-an-hour baseball, which not a bunch of people can throw 100 miles an hour. 100-mile-an-hour baseball, 0.38 seconds to reach home plate.
So
That's
you
so,
have
so close.
Yeah.
you have 3/10 of a second
And that
more.
can make all of the difference. So, like, the decision time. So that's how long it takes for the ball to reach home plate. The decision time between softball, you have 0.025 seconds to decide if you're going to swing or not. In baseball, you have 0.055 seconds. That's literally double the amount of decision time.
Well, the Cubs swung at everything last season, so I don't know what to tell you. Oh my god, watching the wild card was so hard. Anyway.
As she's wearing a Chicago Cubs t-shirt as we speak.
First spring training game today. We'll get to that later, but Brewers.
But anyway, I love sports science for bringing this up. It's just so fantastic. And it basically, if you have a chance, Google sports science, the speed of softball. It will make you literally think that all D1 softball players are just animals, and they are fantastic.
Because they are.
Because they are.
Oh, because they totally are.
They are.
I cover the women's softball team right now, or just the softball team at ASU. Oh my lord. I went to one game. They put up 21 runs in 3 innings.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, they beat up on Weber State. Absolutely destroyed them. I think one girl had a grand slam 1 inning, and then the next inning she had like 2 or 3 RBIs. I was like, this girl's a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, softball is definitely a sport to be reckoned with, in my opinion, but I'm also highly biased because I played it for 12 years.
A lot of my friends played it. Most of my friends played it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who played it. Actually, I know a girl who was out here last weekend playing against Arizona State in like a tournament or something like that. A girl that I went to elementary school with.
Opening weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, shall we continue?
Yes.
All right, do you want to lead us off, Nicole?
Chaos. Oh, yes, of course. Okay, so this is true. This is chaos in its truest form, I think. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Juju Smith-Schuster has called them the Kardashians. And
I mean, even with all that's going on with the Kardashians right now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. See, I don't pay attention to that.
Okay, I don't.
This
gossip is juicy. Like,
it's good.
So good.
The Twitter memes are great. I wish I understood them.
I know.
Anyway, so Pittsburgh's had a lot go on in the past 2 weekends. Or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, the Steelers did not put the franchise tag on him. He will be an unrestricted free agent at the beginning of the new league year, March 13th. He did not play at all last year because he wanted more money, because he feels he's like running back / wide receiver, not just running back. So he wanted to get paid as both. AB officially requests trade and a new nickname. We're not talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to be called Mr. Big Chest. We are talking about that. Oh my God, no! You're still AB. Anyway,
Mr.
Rooney,
Big Chest.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Must you? I just want to look at
Mr. Big Head.
Anyway, Steelers owner and president Rooney and Brown met last Friday, not yesterday, but last Friday, and agreed it was time to move on.
Right.
The weeks are coming together. According to Steelers GM Kevin Colbert, 3 teams have already reached out about AB. And then a couple days ago, Steelers GM makes a statement backing quarterback Ben Roethlisberger as the unquestioned leader, and said, well, he's got 52 kids under him, quite honestly. Like, they should listen to him. They're stupid if they don't. He is the veteran. He knows
52 kids? He
Yep.
called Roethlisberger's teammates his kids.
52 kids, yeah. Yep.
Ah!
Sure did. You can probably see where the problem is. What do you guys think? Louis Riddick on Twitter said it was insanity that he actually called them kids. Like, it doesn't make up for how AB acted, but maybe we understand it a little bit more.
I mean,
what's wrong with the Steelers? There's a lot.
What's right with them? I think that's the real question.
That's a better question.
What in God's name is right with this NFL franchise?
On this episode of Days of Our Steelers.
Will AB actually be traded?
Yes.
Chaos.
For some reason people think he's gonna or experts on NFL Network think he might go to the Bears. I don't want him. We're fine. Also, we don't have the money.
No, they definitely don't have the money for
We
what
did
he
really
wants.
release Cody Parkey, however.
Thank God. It's about time.
I still feel so bad for that guy. But anyway, we're talking about the Steelers. What do
Yeah.
you guys got?
Just trade him. Just trade him already. I'm really getting tired of the AB wanting to be traded, and then the owners are being like, no.
We don't have to.
Just be done. Why? What I don't understand is that the Steelers are bringing all this dysfunctionality onto themselves. So what is the point? Why have all this drama? I'm a fan of drama. I like watching it, but I wouldn't want to be a part of it. It's just not.
As long as
good.
they don't harm Juju Smith-Schuster, he's the only one I like on that team.
Right.
Don't you dare touch Juju Smith-Schuster.
I just feel it's only ruining their image more and more. There's no way that you can, I guess, if you're talking about it, yes, that's, you're keeping in the public eye, but,
not in a good way.
honestly, this is not looking fantastic for the Steelers. You have, the Le'Veon Bell thing, you have Antonio Brown, you have even, Ben Roethlisberger is, going up, his contract ends this year, too.
Yeah.
So, that's gonna be, more drama.
Well, they're going to extend him. But AB actually, when the whole Kaepernick, his collusion case got settled, AB actually liked a tweet saying, along the lines of Kaepernick's not in the league for kneeling, but Ben Roethlisberger is still in the league for raping 2 women.
Right.
Which, if you'll remember, that was back in 2010. And he's still in the league. Mm-hmm. Which I think a lot of people, including myself, forget about. But that did happen.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where, I can see it even happening with Kareem Hunt, that people are going to forget. And...
Well, they have with Ben.
Yeah. Yes, they have with... I thought you said they haven't yet.
Oh,
And
no,
they
wait,
have. No.
Sorry.
They have with Ben, correct. And, it's just... The NFL, when it comes to those kinds of things, is definitely if we're not going to talk about it, it's fine. It's fine. You're a great player.
Sweep
go
it under
for
the rug.
it.
Sweep it under the rug.
They definitely sweep a lot of things under the rug. But I think, when it talks about the Steelers drama, at this point, if you're not making active moves to, improve your situation, you're causing it. And I think the owners are causing it at this point. There's no way that you can go, this much has happened, and this many players, how many players are unhappy in this situation?
All of them.
All of them.
Literally all of
They
them.
all should be after what the GM said, that they're all kids.
Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are just the only 2 players who, have the star power and have, the ability to step up and say, hey, I want to get traded. Because if another guy does that on the end of the bench, if the 52nd guy out of 52 steps up and says, hey, I want to get traded, the Steelers are going to cut him and sign another guy because they know that another guy's going to come along being able to do the exact same job as number 52.
Cheaper.
Yeah, probably at a cheaper price, too.
And that's why you see, players being released at, record rate. Because there's a cheaper guy who's probably better. And we only have to pay him a rookie contract. But I think with the Steelers, what it comes down to is they obviously have as I think we all said last week,
it's a systemic thing.
A leadership. They don't have leadership. If you need the GM to come out and say, yeah, this guy's our leader, and Ben's just kind of what he said, basically, to me, it starts with Tomlin, who I think is a great coach, and definitely won't be fired over this, as it's known the Steelers do not turn over coaches, ever. This is their 3rd head coach ever.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they are loyal, if not
loyal,
which is weird because
you have
considering
everything else, they are loyal to coaches.
I'm sorry, but how did the Browns do better than the Steelers last season? Didn't the Browns end up winning more games than the Steelers?
My boy Baker.
I don't think they did. They win more games? Hold on.
Pittsburgh didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
the Browns.
They wanted the Browns to beat the Ravens, which they almost did, but I didn't want the Steelers in the playoffs, so I was like, go
Because
Ravens.
The Browns are on like their fourth head coach in like what, probably 3 years or
Well, it's
something
amazing
like that.
they didn't fire Hugh Jackson earlier.
Honestly, yes.
Oh.
After the 0-16 season. Like, that was their mistake. And now Baker, basically hates him, which I think is hysterical as well.
Well, like, what happened with Hugh and Baker is just also amazing gossip.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's truly. But,
I mean,
the Browns were close. They tied with them, so they have the one tie. Browns were 7-8-1. Steelers were 9-6-1. That one being the tie that they both had.
yeah.
But I think, Tomlin's known as a player's coach, and he's a great coach, but you got to draw the line somewhere of being a coach and a friend, and I just don't think he knows how to do that, because it's like, is the leader Tomlin? Is it AB, I guess it could be? Is it Ben? Like, no one knows. And they don't have a concrete leadership. Ryan Clark actually came out, his former teammate, and said, Ben Roethlisberger is not a natural leader. So he needs kind of those reins to be given to him. But like Tomlin's, I don't know. It's hard to explain even to myself what's going on with the Steelers, but it is an obvious leadership problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think this kind of stems from ownership and from like the GM and stuff like that. Like, the top dogs who are paying these players are coming out and demeaning them, calling them children, saying that they're essentially like, I compare it to like, they're like a herd of sheep that's just going to follow Ben Roethlisberger and, kind of kowtow to him as the leader. That's not how professional sports work. That's not how
that's how they haven't been
work.
That's not how they've been doing it.
And like, but this idea that like, that there has to be so much drama with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell sat out an entire NFL season in his prime. Granted, do I think it was very smart of him? No, probably not. But
I'm worried about him getting back in shape.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
but I think he'll end up with the Jets. I think AB is going to end up with the Niners. It's said the Steelers want to trade him to an NFC team.
Yeah.
Duh. Why not?
I mean, like, that makes so much sense. It's not even funny.
So he's probably going to the Niners, which will be interesting to see how the Niners do, considering their what they were expected to do last year, and now add AB, which they most likely will do. I'd be really surprised to see him go elsewhere, especially in the NFC.
Would they trade the number 2 pick for him, or the number one?
No, I
pick
think
for him?
the drama that comes with AB, I think it's going to be a second rounder at highest. I don't think he's going to go for a first rounder. So yes, it's amazing that Amari Cooper was a first round trade, but he showed it, and AB shows it on the field, but it comes a time when your drama off the field is just not worth it anymore, and the Steelers are to that point, and I don't think any team wants to take that on. So I think second rounder at best.
But the Niners want to take it on?
Why not? You got Kyle Shanahan leading it. You got Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's true.
I think if you can maybe get him in line, you have Jerry Rice there, who's basically recruiting him.
Mm-hmm.
They could show him a few things, kick him in line. It's not impossible. He was a humble man when he was drafted in the 6th round from Central Michigan back in 2010. So
That's true. That is true.
So we'll see. When we come back, we'll be talking Robert Kraft and spring training. Spring training games have started.
They have.
Woo!
So exciting. Even though the weather in Arizona was not great yesterday.
Rain 2 days straight should be illegal.
in
the state. Yes.
Says the one who's from the state that had a polar vortex less than a month ago.
Yeah, and I'm going back to it in a week. So.
Yeah.
Woo, it's going to be so cold. All right. We'll be right back here on The Future is Female.
Welcome back to The Future is Female, live from the Bill Austin Radio Studio. I'm one of your hosts, Sarandon Raboin, along with Nicole Pinter and Gabrielle Ducharme. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the sticky situation that the Patriots owner has found himself in. Oh my gosh.
Oh my. I saw this news as I was, like, in bio. Like, I took out my phone at the end of bio, and I'm like, what? What in the world?
Yeah.
It just... I think it catches everybody in surprise. I think everyone's a little bit in shock now. Patriots owner Robert Kraft, 6-time Super Bowl winner, 6 rings, you can make the jokes as you will, but facing charges of soliciting a prostitute in Jupiter, Florida, Where it becomes sticky is that they were basically part of a sex trafficking ring. Very serious stuff here.
Very serious.
I think once that came out, show stopped, but it not good.
So the charges are Kraft is among more than 200 people who engaged in sex acts with employees of targeted massage parlors in South Florida, and every person who will be charged was caught on videotape. The police say Kraft made 2 trips to the Orchids of Asia massage parlor in Jupiter, Florida about 1 month ago, and thus faces 2 counts of the charge. And police say details about the charges against Kraft will not be released until later next week. And that's from an article on ESPN by Kevin Seifert.
Yeah.
Allow me to say that after studying topics like this in high school, because I was in Mall United Nations, so I studied like this idea of like sex trafficking in Southeast Asia and stuff, and enslavement, especially amongst like women, and this idea of like enslaved workers and everything like that. And like you look at this power struggle, you look at what is going on with this situation. This situation absolutely infuriates me beyond even just sports, beyond anything like outside, like beyond anything involving like the sport of football. This idea that women are being put through something like this, it absolutely infuriates me. It absolutely, this is the reason why there's this continued movement with the hashtag #MeToo movement. This is the reason why women are so afraid to come out. This is the reason. It all stems from powerful white men like this coming forward and getting charged on crimes like this. It's disgusting to me. It's absolutely disgusting. When I saw this news yesterday, I wanted to kind of scream a little bit. I was shocked.
And it's insane, really. They're saying Robert Kraft's what you call it, I can't think of it, but they said they categorically deny that he was involved or he did any wrongdoing.
Right.
Police have come out and said no, they have video of him, and
right.
You know, what will the video change? Who knows? No, I don't think you want to watch it, but
has the video actually been released?
No.
Oh, okay.
It won't be for a
while.
bit. Yeah,
because it's a part of a police investigation,
right?
So it can be tampered with if it gets released.
Right. So they'll wait. But according to Adam Schefter and other sources, Kraft is not the biggest name involved. Jupiter, Florida is a place which is scary, but Jupiter, Florida is a place where a lot of, athletes have vacation homes or celebrities. I know people brought up Donald Trump has his golf course like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
I know Tiger Woods lives around there. I'm not saying either of them are involved. I'm just saying they both live around there. So
neither of them have been attached.
No, and I'm not saying.
Let's just make that clear.
Let's make that clear. I'm not saying they were involved, but
it's a very popular area for a lot of powerful people.
Right. It's just it made me question like this. Why is he doing this? Like.
When you have power and you have money, and this idea of people kowtowing to you, of always telling you that you're right because of the dollars and cents, the idea of being so beyond rich that you feel you're invincible to the outside world. That's the mindset. It becomes like sickening. It literally makes you become mentally ill on power, on wealth, on riches. It's this idea that you have this superpower in
goes to your head.
Financial sustainability. Yeah, it goes to your head, it goes to your mind, it goes to your body. It's sickening. And I'm not saying at all that his money is an excuse for his actions, but I am saying that this idea that because you have money, you have more power. Because you have money, you get to tell these women what they can and cannot do with their bodies. And you essentially are running an enslavement, sex trafficking organization in your backyard. This is the stuff that you hear about going on in Southeast Asia. This is the stuff that you hear about going on the black market. It's happening in our own country, in our backyards.
And that's what makes it terrifying, is that it was, these women were there against their will. Mm-hmm. If it's their job and he's paying for this, fine. But not great, but fine.
Even then, it's like...
But they're here against their will. It's a sex trafficking ring, and that's, to me, like, that's terrifying. I fear that. I think a lot of women fear that happening.
And I think all three of us, like, as budding, like, sports journalists and everything like that, we're living in a world where we're being told that we can take on the world and we can do whatever we want to do despite our gender. But then stuff like this pops up and continuously reminds society of where the woman's place was not that long ago, and where for many women it continues to be. And I think that's the scary part, this idea of this inequality, this idea of the woman being ranked as a second-class citizen and being forced to do these, like, inhumane actions, like being held by bondage or being held in debt bondage, whatever number of things it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just,
well,
scary stuff.
Yeah. So, basically, what's the punishment? I know that's what we're all thinking.
It's supposed to be harsher than players, because they're owners.
It is. But there's not really a lot of precedent for owners getting penalized. They do have to submit under the NFL Code of Conduct, personal conduct policy, and owners are supposed to be held to a higher precedent. Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay was suspended 6 games and fined $500,000 in 2014 for being arrested on drug charges. And obviously this is a bit more serious if the charges against Kraft go through and he is charged with the crime. But also you have to look at what has Roger Goodell done to the Patriots throughout his term. And Goodell has punished Kraft more severely than any other owner.
But you know what's interesting? Just to finish off here, I heard on CBS Sports Network on the, I think it's Tiki Barber, I think it's their show, their radio show. I think it's it's a CBS Sports radio show, and they were saying technically, in some weird way, Goodell actually works under Kraft in some weird fashion.
Because
which is insane.
Because the owners are the ones that employ they're the ones that select the commissioner of the NFL. So, but honestly, in actuality, Kraft's punishment, if the charges go through, should be federal prison.
He'd be in prison for 60 days and then fined.
60 days?
That's it?
Jeez.
For running a sex trap? Oh my
He didn't run it, but he was involved.
He was involved in it.
As of right now, it's 60 days and a $500 fine.
$500 fine?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Let's move on to happier things. Spring training.
And
Manny Machado got money, and he gets to live in San Diego. Why wouldn't you?
But also Harper's gonna break that record instantly.
Probably.
So Manny Machado, if you guys didn't hear, got $300 million for 10 years and the option to opt out after 5. Bryce Harper will probably. I saw a meme and it was like, 301.
It's probably what he'll do.
It's probably it'd be super petty. But yeah, Bryce Harper is going to hold out probably for more money. I could see him going for $315 for 10. But we'll see where he ends up. I know the Phillies are in the mix. Hopefully, I personally want him to stay with the Nationals. I think he
won't.
I think if he was going to stay with the Nationals, he would have signed by now.
I don't think so. I mean, we'll see.
I bet he goes to the Phillies, but
to go within division, that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks really for the Nationals, but not for him. Yeah. But Bryce Harper, like we said last week, is reportedly knows where he's going, but he's still not saying. Like you said, Sarandon probably wants more money now after seeing this. Manny Machado going to the Padres. I know back in Chicago, I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, so it's fun to see, but Chicago White Sox fans are not happy after losing out on Machado, a deal.
Did they really have a chance? Did they
really
have a chance?
Think of this, going to San Diego for $300 million, I don't know what the Sox were going to pay him, I think it was going to be less, or going to the south, central side of Chicago, playing with the White Sox, basically no sun, you don't know what it is, you also don't know what green grass is all that much. I think it's obvious.
As a kid who grew up in Southern California, apologies to the White Sox, but I'd like to stay in Southern California if I were Manny Machado.
Yeah.
But also, it's interesting that the NL West, in my opinion, is going to be the division to watch. You have, the Dodgers, who are still killing it every single year. One of the best players in baseball.
World Series losses.
Yeah. Those were happy for me.
108 years.
Chaos.
Chicago Cubs.
2016 World Series champs.
Try me. 108 years.
Yeah, it's over. So, what's your point?
Okay.
Go on.
Sorry, go
I was
on.
like, this was a weird staring contest that I was in the middle of. So you have the best third baseman in the game with Nolan Arenado at the Colorado Rockies. Now you have Machado in the Padres, and then Bruce Bochy's last year, and you think the Giants aren't going to make a run for it?
No, they are.
They are.
They totally
and then the
are.
Diamondbacks sold a lot of their best players. But we'll see. Spring training, it's a lot of hope. That's what I'm holding on to. And, we're going to just end on that.
And hope for better weather.
Better weather. We'll come back next week with, spring training updates, who's playing where, and all
More
that
baseball.
stuff. More baseball.
And
this is my time to shine. I'm so excited.
Stay tuned because we may be interviewing a very, very prominent sports journalist on Monday evening. So we'll have all the highlights from that possibly as well. She will be coming to Cronkite.
Sarah
so
Spain.
We will,
Yes.
Yeah,
And
we will have highlights no matter what in some capacity from Monday night.
Right, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at TheFutureIsFee13 to keep all those updates because we will definitely be updating on that.
And subscribe to my YouTube channel for all the postings of the show on the Saturdays after.
And follow all of us on Twitter because we're really cool people. And you should follow us.
You should be friends with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Tune in next week, same time, same place. This has been The Future is Female. I'm Sarandon Raboin with Nicole Pinter and Gabrielle Ducharme. And we were live from the Bill Austin Radio Studio. Peace.